Welcome to the UPW virtual experience. Hey, I'm so excited about this. This is going to be a lot of fun. This is actually my second time doing UPW virtual. I've done UPW live 2 times as well. This is Unleash the Power Within with Tony Robbins. And I'm really excited about it, and I'm going to take you along with me on this journey. I didn't want to experience it just on my laptop because this is really an experience. I wanted to experience it a lot bigger than that. So I'm using my projector up on the screen. Now, to tell you guys the truth, the lighting here doesn't really work very well for both camera and a projector at the same time. So I apologize for the lighting. But what you're gonna see here is I got the big screen up here. We got all the Zoom people up there. Pretty soon we'll have Tony up on screen. Well, we'll have a couple people before Tony comes on. But then, yeah, see, I got my projector here, got a lot of space here for moving and dancing, set up a PA speaker here so that I can actually have nice, loud music, and I am very excited about this. If you've never done UPW, if you've never done a Tony Robbins event, I would highly recommend wearing basically the clothes that you would wear for a workout, wearing exercise clothes. And the reason why is because you're going to move a lot, you're going to dance a lot. I'm pretty sure that Julianne Hough will be up here with her dance crew, leading dances and exercises. And the reason why is because with these types of events, look, in normal school, you sit and you listen, and you don't really get to engage your mind because you're not engaging your body. And so with Tony Robbins events, you get up, you move, you breathe, you dance, and then you sit and listen. And it's a completely different experience. So, I wanted to have a bunch of space, so I moved my couches around in a way that I could have plenty of space here for moving, for dancing. Like I said, I'd recommend wearing workout clothes, wearing that kind of thing so that you can move, you can dance, you can have fun with it. And I'm excited for this event starting soon. And like I said, I'm going to follow along with you guys. I'm going to pop on maybe every couple hours or so during the event to tell you about how things have been going. I'm not gonna record the whole thing. This would be a 50-hour video, but I'm going to update you guys throughout it. I'll say this: anyone thinking about attending one of these events, this is something that I would highly, highly recommend. If someone's looking for a review video where I'm going to be critical, this probably isn't the video for you because, hey, look, I've been here. This is my 4th time attending one of his events, and I've attended just about every other one of his events. And the ones that I haven't, I will be this year. So I'm not the guy to go over the criticism. And yeah, sure, there's pros and cons of everything, but I'm really Mr. Focus on the good. I'm gonna focus on the things that I love, which is 99% of Tony Robbins events. So I'm not going to be talking about here's what was good and here's what was bad. I'm just going to be sharing my experience with you. I just want to let you know that up front, so that you guys would know if you were looking for a critical review, which a lot of YouTube videos are. I'm really not the place to be watching that. What's cool with this is we are separated into small group rooms. There's the big room. It looks like we're starting right now. I'll hop on in just a second. But what we see here is we have these small group rooms, and we can chat with these people. When I say small, it's like 200, 300 people. But there's probably 20,000 people at this event. And so we get to have this small group. We get to hang out. We get to have fun together. So you see people starting moving, dancing, doing that kind of thing. And now I'm going to get my groove on. This is not your normal Zoom conference. They get you up, they get you moving. Like I said, you're going to want to wear workout gear because there's a lot of that going. Hey, there you go. There's a Dodgers fan. They got a lot of that going on. Got this amazing studio set up. They get you moving. They get you breathing. That way it's not just another boring Zoom virtual conference. So it's pretty cool. They get you moving, and right now we're doing a lot of moving, breathing, and energizing so that when Tony comes up, we're excited, we're ready to go. All right, Tony's about to come on stage, about to come up. They're playing his introduction right now. Man, I had a crazy workout, got my Fitbit on. We were working hard, and I'm feeling good because motion creates emotion. And man, I'm feeling great. And now we're ready and we're primed for Tony to come out on stage, and it's going to be great. Here he is.
How y'all doing out there? London. Samantha Fuller. Nicole Forsberg.
The production of this event is just incredible. From going to all these different Zoom faces, seeing people dancing. Oh, that's so cool. Look at her in her wheelchair, but being positive anyway. That's amazing. And look at this incredible setup. Wow, it's amazing. The setup that they have, I think Tony spent something like $7 million for this setup that he has there. Like, it is awesome. Look at all those faces. I think 3,000 faces can be on there. Absolutely amazing. It's so cool. There we go. There's the setup where the light looks a little bit better. This is what it looks like to me. What a cool event.
And so it's a unique time. And so I just want to first thank you for your trust and your faith to be with me here. And I'm not perfect by any way, but I will give you my all. And I promise you the next 4 days will be 4 days you'll never forget without exaggeration. Not because of me, because of we. Because we have people from all over the earth here that will be interacting together and learning from each other. What if life was always happening for us, not to us? Even when it looks like it's happening to us. If we could find that mindset or attitude, a couple things will happen. You'll find solutions to things because you won't be overwhelmed by the stress.
My favorite thing about this is doing these little dance breaks in between everything. You know, we get going and we're listening and we're listening and listening, but then we start to slouch and we start to sit without energy. We do these dance breaks. I didn't do very well in school growing up. School was very challenging for me, and it was because I just wasn't managing my energy. I'd get bored. I would just get distracted. But one of the things that has helped me so much with Tony Robbins events is that we take the time to stop and to move and to dance and to move around. And then when it's time to get back to it, I'm able to do it because I have the energy and I feel good. So I think these are absolutely awesome, super cool. We get to see people in their own homes. We get to see Tony in this awesome place. And it's super cool, so I'm going to get my groove on. So far, the biggest topic that Tony's been talking about is energy. Managing your energy so that your energy can be at a high level, and what a difference that makes. He gave the example of two different couples. One couple who loves each other but has a low level of energy versus another couple that loves each other and has a high level of energy. Well, which couple is going to have a better relationship? The one that has a better, higher level of energy is going to have a better relationship just because they have the energy to express that. They have the energy to do things together. They have the energy to go on adventures together, and that's going to drastically change things. Take the example of two business owners, one with a high level of energy, one with a low level of energy. The one with a higher level of energy is going to be able to do so much more. UPW, especially day one, is really about you can change your peak state. You can change your level of energy. We have so much more energy reserves inside of us than we're willing to show. We have it inside of us. And now it's about getting that energy. It's about finding that energy within so that we can express it, so that we can do things. And maybe you need to make major changes in your life. Maybe you need to do big things to change your life, to have sustained energy. But we have the energy to get started right inside of us right now. So that's been the biggest part of this seminar so far this morning. It's all been about energy. Most of the day today is going to be about energy and something that he calls changing your peak state. Changing your state, getting into peak state. We'll be talking about that, and then later on in the day, we're going to be talking about breaking through limiting beliefs. Breaking through limiting beliefs, we're going to do a really cool exercise. There you go, tons of energy right there. I'm going to get over here and dance in just a second. Tons of energy, but we're going to talk about breaking through limiting beliefs, and we're literally going to break through a board with our bare hands. At the live event, you do a fire walk. Well, obviously, we can't have a fire walk at our homes, so we do it a little bit differently. We have these boards that we're going to break, but it's about breaking through that limiting belief. So day one, energy, change your state into peak state, breaking through limiting beliefs, having an incredible experience in the evening about breaking through the board.
Write this down. Meaning equals emotion. Emotion equals life. Meaning equals emotion, and emotion equals life. If you give it a negative meaning, it's going to produce a negative emotion, and that's going to affect your decision. It affects the third decision. What are you going to do?
Now we're doing an activity where we are focusing on these three questions. What does an extraordinary life look like for you at the next level? Not 20 years from now, but the next level. What's preventing you from making it happen? And then what needs to shift? What actions can you take to change it? So this morning we've been focusing, the first half of the day we were focusing primarily on shifting your emotions, understanding that you have control of your emotions. Everything is about what you choose to focus on, what you decide that means, and what you are going to choose to do about it. So much about focusing on the good and choosing to see that life happens for you and not to you. Now we are shaping what an extraordinary life looks like from us, what's preventing us from having it, and what needs to shift. What actions can you take to make it happen? It's a really cool concept I wanted to share with you guys before I forgot it, because I know I'd probably forget it later because we're covering so many things today. But that concept is what you become makes you happy, not what you get. And it was this idea that so often we're chasing these goals, we're chasing this achievement, but in reality, that achievement, the joy of that achievement only lasts so long. The purpose of reaching that goal is really about who you become in reaching that goal. I thought that was really cool. A couple other things I wanted to share with you is we want a beautiful life and not just a life of achievement. And that's really what we want. We don't just want a life of achievement. We also want a beautiful life. And this other thing is that stress is about the illusion of loss, meaning stress is about the illusion that we're losing control. The real illusion is that we ever had control before. So stress is feeling like we no longer had control when in reality, we never really had it. So those are a couple points from this last segment that I wanted to share with you guys. I thought it was super, super cool. Very excited. Still loving everything that's going on. And I hope that you guys are enjoying this. If you're enjoying it, let me know in the comments. I always thought videos like this were cool, and I wanted to go along and show you guys what this was like.
He goes, because anybody can be in a good state when things are going your way. I said, I know, I teach that. He goes, I know. He said, but if you can stay in a beautiful state when things don't go your way, then you're going to have a beautiful life.
What we've been focusing on for the last hour or so is living in a beautiful state. Tony talks about there are two different types of states that we live in, mental and emotional states. And basically we can categorize everything either as a beautiful state or as a suffering state. And everything falls in those two places. And he talks about how, look, when it comes down to it, we're going to have challenges. We're even going to have pain. But suffering is something that's optional. And when we experience suffering, how quickly can we get out of it? He talks about a 90-second rule, meaning anything he feels, hey, look, I can be in that suffering state for 90 seconds, now I'm going to move forward. For me personally, I try to keep it to a day. I wish that I was at that level of 90 seconds. Maybe that will come at some point. But right now, look, if there's something that really is awful, something that creates a lot of pain, I go, okay, well, I'm feeling this for one day. Now it's the next day. Time for me to move on. Time for me to get back into that beautiful state. Now, I'll tell you this. I'm not perfect at that, and I'm far from it, but it's what I strive to do. And this was such a great reminder. Such a great reminder. We just made a commitment. We made a commitment that we are going to live in a beautiful state no matter what happens. And that is an amazing thing. And this is always, I've done this seminar 4 times, and every single time, this has been my biggest takeaway. Choosing to live in a beautiful state and making a decision that I do not suffer. Right now we're going through an exercise that's super powerful. It's about your favorite flavor of suffering. Yes, we all have a favorite flavor of suffering. And with this, the exercise that we're doing, we're talking about what are your top 2 favorite flavors of suffering, what tends to trigger them, and what do you feel and do. And then what can you do to break that pattern? When it comes to breaking that pattern, it's about doing something silly. What can you do to break the pattern? What can you do to interrupt the pattern? So you can just realize, hey, I got to snap out of this. What I chose to do is the Vince McMahon / Conor McGregor walk. And that's what I'm doing to break that pattern when I start to go into that suffering state. Some of you are laughing right now, and some of you are thinking, what is he talking about? The dancing is going. People are so into this now. At the beginning, people were a little bit apprehensive, but now everyone's into it. Everyone's feeling it. To be honest, I mean, people who get into it are having just as much fun as they would live. Like, yeah, I'd rather be live. I'd rather be in person, but I've been amazed at how great this is, comparing it to a live UPW, and I've done both. And let's just say I'm back here again. So it's been really, really great.
What if you raised your standard for playfulness, for energy, for vitality? What if instead of just walking through life, you dance through it, you laugh through it, you celebrated through it? See, most people won't do that. The nature of the human mind is the more we focus on ourselves, the more there are going to be expectations that aren't met, and the more we're going to suffer. But do you ever notice when you're trying to serve others, when you're really loving on somebody, when you're just in the moment, taking it in, there is no suffering, especially when you're serving or trying to grow or give.
All right, so we are most of the way through day one. Now, most of the way through day one means that there's still a couple hours left because we are going to break this board later today with our bare hands, which is pretty cool. Bare hands always sounds funny because it's actually with our human hands is what we're gonna do. I like silly jokes, and yeah, I like silly jokes, so that is what it is. So today, so we're going to still have a couple more hours of this seminar. You know, Tony talks for a long time. In fact, it's kind of rare to have a meal break. Right now we have a dinner break, but if you go see him live, just whenever that happens again, be aware that meal breaks are pretty sparse. So if eating is important to you, then definitely bring snacks with you. But anyway, so this is pretty cool. I'm excited for the rest of the day, but today has been outstanding. It has been absolutely incredible. There is no virtual event that is like what Tony Robbins has done, but on top of that, there's no event that's like what Tony Robbins has done. So it's super, super cool. I just wanted to recap what we've done so far. So far, so much of this has been about getting into peak state. It's about getting into peak state, shifting your mind, and changing your state immediately. Like I said earlier in the video, it's hard for me to remember everything that I said because I've been doing it throughout the day, but we have two different choices. We can live in a beautiful state or we can live in a suffering state. But if you can shift and live in that beautiful state, everything changes. Tony also uses the phrase, trade your expectations for appreciation and your life will change. And it's so true. It's so absolutely true. If you can do that, if you could trade those two things, if you could trade those expectations for appreciation, incredible things happen. So I wanted to talk about a couple things. So we talked about the cycle of success, which is a very cool thing. We talk about potential, action, results, and then we have certainty and belief. And when it comes down to it, you think about it, we have unlimited potential. Basically, pretty much unlimited potential. Yes, there are some limitations. Every time we say unlimited potential, people say, well, I can't fly, or I'm probably not going to make it in the NBA. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about unlimited potential for what you are capable of doing. So we have potential, but then hopefully that potential means nothing unless we get into action. It means nothing unless we get into action. And then from there we get results. And then from there, we start to have certainty and belief, which increases the potential that we have. And then we have to get to action, results, certainty, belief, potential. And what's really cool about this is these four quadrants, if one of them breaks down, it affects the whole thing. And so for you, you can ask yourself, well, where am I? Is it do I have belief? Do I know that I have potential, but am I taking action? Okay, I got to start taking more action. Then from the action, I'm going to get results, which increases our confidence. I had a conversation with Jack Canfield, and he was talking about how confidence is created by competence, and it's a pretty cool thing to think about it. So that is what happens there, which is really cool. Today we went over what does an extraordinary life look like for you. Maybe what are some of those things that have prevented you from having that extraordinary life? What do you need to change to make that happen, have life on your terms? What needs to shift? Then we started talking about what are the two most stressful thoughts that pop up in your life, what triggers that, what actually brings that up, and how you can get through that. Then so much of this evening was talking about being in a beautiful state instead of being in a suffering state. We have that choice. And we went through this exercise where we talked about why will you live in a beautiful state every day? Why will you do that? Why would you do that? What will it give you? What kind of changes would it make in your life? So we went through that, which was, I really enjoyed that. And then we talked about why must you free yourself from suffering now? Because all of us have been through that place. Like I said, we can choose between suffering or between suffering and being in a beautiful state. So why must you free yourself from suffering now? Why will you no longer tolerate suffering? What would transform in your life if suffering were no longer a part of your life? So we went through that exercise as well. There's this great quote down here: success without fulfillment is the ultimate failure. He talked a lot about that two different things. We have a science of success and art of fulfillment. And there's a lot of people who are very successful, but they don't have any fulfillment. And that's not where we want to be. We don't want to be there. That is not where we want to be. We went on talking more about our favorite flavor of suffering. I talked about that earlier. Did some exercises of things that we can do to get over that and break through that. And then just now we did some really, really great exercises and meditations to get us into gratitude, to break us out of that stress, to break us out of that anxiety, so that we can do that at any given time, so we can go there anytime that we want. And so anytime we're in that place, we can choose to change our state. A couple quotes that I wanted to share with you. Number one, you can change your state in a moment. That's just true. We can absolutely change your state in a moment. It's not complicated. It's about being committed. I thought that was really cool. It's about making a decision. So many of us hold on to that suffering state when in reality we could change if we just made a decision. It's not that complicated. He said, find a higher meaning in everything that happens. So we can always find a higher meaning. We can look for that higher meaning in whatever happens. It's not the loss itself that creates suffering. The loss, less, or never. Those are the three things that create suffering. It's not loss, less, or never. What it really is what we decide those things mean. That's what it really is. It's really about what we decide those things mean and what it means about us and what it means about life. If everything is happening for me, there is no loss. It's very interesting. If everything happened for me, if everything is happening for me, then there is no loss because I'm gaining something from every opportunity, from everything that happens. One thing he talked about that I thought was really interesting was he was talking about this idea of variety in our lives and how important variety is and how much that brings to us. He gave this example where he said, you know what? If you were at a casino and you were pulling the slots and you hit the jackpot, you'd be very excited. And then if you hit the jackpot again, you'd be very excited. And if you hit the jackpot again, you'd be very excited. But eventually, it wouldn't have the excitement anymore. It would just be a job. Now, it's not to say that you wouldn't be, well, okay, cool, I'll just pull this lever and get money every time. Great, no problem. They won't have that same excitement anymore because it just becomes a job. I thought that was very interesting. I thought that was a really interesting thing. And we talked a lot about how success actually has very little to do with how we're feeling. It's more about who we're becoming. So your goals should really be set up in a way that when you reach your goals, it helps you become a better person and helps you elevate yourself as a human. Because if it's just about achievement, you're not going to have that fulfillment. Because if you think about something that you achieved, maybe you spent weeks on it, maybe you spent months on it, maybe you spent years on it, maybe you spent decades on it. And when you reached it, the excitement of it lasted for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, maybe even a couple months. But that's about it. And real fulfillment is about becoming, not necessarily about what you get. I thought that was really cool as well. And someone asked me, like, why are you going to this? Like, why are you doing this again? Why are you taking 4 days to do this? Why is that something that you're doing when you've done this before? You're a busy guy. So for me, what it's really about is it's about repetition. It's about a reminder. It's about a refresher. And I know that more importantly, it's about how I feel. I have done this event. This is the 4th time. I said that earlier, but 2 times live and then 2 times now. This is the 2nd time virtually. And every time I come out of it, I just feel incredible. I feel incredible and I'm able to do so much more. And my productivity over those next 3 months is absolutely incredible. Now, then I need to do something else, and then I'll do something else. Then I'll go to another seminar. I'll go to another event. I'll focus on practicing. One of the things I'm doing right now with this best year ever project that I'm doing is focusing on implementing the things that I learned here at UPW and other types of events, but actually implementing them year round. That's a part of the reason why I'm doing this project, is so that I actually implement it for a long period of time. Sometimes people say, oh, it wears off and then it's not really helping you anymore. And really, when it comes down to it, it's about, you got to keep doing the things. You got to keep implementing. You got to keep doing that. So I'm planning on going to a bunch of Tony events, watching them here in my basement with the projector and the screen and doing all that. But I'm planning on doing a lot of them this year because when I don't have the travel, I don't have to get a hotel, I don't have to do all that stuff, and I can do it from home. I figured, why not? I should do as many as I can during this time. Yeah, I'd always rather be in a live room because it's really awesome and exciting. But at the same time, there's travel days on both sides of getting somewhere. You're gone the entire time. I'm married and have a young son, and it's nice that during our dinner break right now, I'm going to go up and spend some time with my family. So there's definitely pros and cons to the virtual events. Yeah, it's awesome being in a live event. But it's also pretty cool to have the opportunity to do this from home. And like, for instance, I probably wouldn't have gone to UPW right now because I just did it back in July. But it's from home, so what's the big deal? It's not a big deal. I'm going to be doing Date with Destiny. I'm going to be doing Date with Destiny in December. And what's the big deal? Why can't I do it again when I don't need to travel all the way to Florida? I just take the days of the actual event instead of 2 days, a day on both sides. Plus, let's be honest, you're at those live events, man, it takes so much out of you. You're sleeping in a hotel, you're doing all that kind of stuff. It really takes a couple days to actually get back from it. And so there's a lot of pros to this. Anyway, I've been rambling long enough. Next, you'll see whatever we're doing to get ready for the board break. I'm pretty sure we'll go over 6 human needs before the board break. Maybe we won't. Maybe we'll do that on another day. But we're going to do the board break later. I'll get a video of that and then do just a couple minutes of recap. Hey, so I forgot about some of my very favorite content. We've been covering this after dinner. What we've been covering is the 3 elements of practical psychology. So this has been really, really exciting, really deep stuff. We've been talking about these 3 elements, and they come down to 3 different questions. And the questions are, number 1, what stops us from moving forward? And what that is that stops us from moving forward is fear. Fear is what stops us from moving forward. And every single fear that we have comes down to these 2 different elements. And the 2 different elements, the 2 different fears are fear that we're not enough, and then therefore fear that we won't be loved. Then after that, question number 2, what controls and determines the quality of our lives? And really that's our emotions. Our emotions is what controls the quality of our life. And he talks about something called the triad. So you can look at it right there. The triad is what creates our state. And the triad is, number 1, our physiology, how we move our body, how we move and how we breathe. Number 2 is what we focus on, our focus and our beliefs. And then number 3 is the language that we use and the meaning that we create from every situation. So our emotional state is created by these 3 elements in the triad. Once again, our physiology, our focus, and our language and our meaning. Our emotions are shaped by these 3 things. And when we have knowledge of that, we can actually do something about it, because we can say, great, well, am I moving? Am I breathing? What is my physiology like? Am I slouched over like this, or do I have good posture? It's a really cool thing. Then what am I focusing on? What am I choosing to focus on? So many different things that I can focus on. And then what is the language and the meaning that I am using? And these 3 things are what shape our emotional state. And then the third question is, why do we do what we do? And I alluded to this a little bit earlier, but these are about the human needs. These are about the 6 human needs. I'll make another video at some point where we talk about all those 6 human needs. I'll also link some videos down below that talk about this. But the 6 human needs that Tony talks about, these are not wants, these are not desires, these are needs. And they are certainty, uncertainty or variety, significance, connection, growth, and contribution. And we all have these needs, but we value them in different order. And depending on which one you value as your top 2 needs are going to greatly shape your experience in life and greatly shape what you do and what you don't do. So anyway, I remembered 6 human needs, but I forgot about those first 2 questions. And I'm really glad that we got to those. I know we'll be doing not the firewalk. We're not doing the firewalk. We're not doing the firewalk here in my home. But we are going to do the board break later today. But I'm glad that we got to this, and it looks like we got some other great content before we get to that board break. All right, so the last couple hours have been really great. We've been focusing on those 6 human needs and how they impact us in our day-to-day life, which ones we value at the highest level. I think I said this earlier, but I'll include a video in the comments or in the description that will cover what that means, a lot more depth in those 6 human needs. But we've been spending the last couple hours focusing on those 6 human needs. So the thing about Tony's seminars is they're not just intense in terms of the activity level, in terms of moving and dancing and all that kind of stuff. They're also just intense with the amount of content that you cover in a very short period of time. So very intense. We've been going, 12 hours by this point. Yeah, 12 hours. A little longer than 12 hours, about 13 hours we've been going so far. It's really amazing that Tony's able to do what he does and just is able to keep talking and keep sharing, which is really awesome. But anyway, we covered those 6 human needs and did some exercises along with it. And now it is time for us to break this board. We're on a little bit of a break right now, just a few minutes, then we're gonna come back and break the boards, and I'll include a video of that afterwards. I'm excited about it. Now it is time for us to break this board, and I'm so excited about it. On this side, we wrote a limiting belief, a BS thought, something that's held us back. For me, I wrote, I am not enough. And on the other side, we wrote our empowering belief. For me, it's all I need is within me now. All the joy I need, all the time, all the discipline, all the resources, all the energy, all the courage, all the smarts, all the assets, all the talent, the strength, the strategy, the fun, the love, the knowledge, the discipline, everything that I need is within me right now. So we're going to break this board right now. I'm very excited about this. Let's check it out. There it is. Boom! 13 and a half hours later, and we are done with day one of the Unleash the Power Within virtual experience. I hope that you guys have enjoyed following along. I'm going to give you a couple last thoughts of the day. First of all, let's talk about the board breaking. This was a lot of fun. This was a blast to break through this board. Let's see, do I got it right? Nope, I don't. There we go. I actually broke it into 3. It's almost broken there as well. On one side it says, I am not enough. On the other side, all I need is within me now. This was really cool. One thing he referred to this as is a starter board. So I do a lot of board breaks in my seminars. We usually use 1/2 inch thick, and this is a 1/4 inch thick. I think that they did this just to make sure that people were able to do it on their own at home. And I know that for some people, breaking that 1/2 inch board is quite challenging. It's not hard. It doesn't take a lot of strength. It really doesn't. People might think it takes a lot of strength, but it really doesn't. It really takes just going right in the center and really committing to it is what it really takes. But now that I've done this, the next time I'm able to do a live seminar and I'm doing a board break, I'm going to bring some of these as well for those people who are struggling so that we can start with these and then move forward. So that was really cool. But it's not about the thickness of the board. It's not about how challenging it is. What it's about is about the metaphor. It's about breaking through whatever that limiting belief is and getting to that other side. I just wanted to say that today was absolutely incredible. It was so much fun. I loved how engaged they were able to make it. I mean, it's not like most Zoom events. Most Zoom events are not like this. And it was so engaged. You saw some of the footage that I posted there. So engaged. Also, they did these breakout rooms throughout the day, which is a big deal considering there's like 12,000 people at this, but they broke us into small groups of 300, and then within that 300 we broke out into groups of 4 to 6. So that was really cool to be able to break out there. We really had an incredible day. It was a long day, but it was so good and so fun. I'm going to give you a couple tips for if you are thinking about going. If you're thinking about going to one of the next ones, first of all, set your space up so that you can move around and so that you can focus. Meaning, if you can move some furniture around and that kind of thing so that you can have some space to get up, to move, to dance and that kind of thing, I would highly recommend it. Also, set up your space so you don't have distractions so that you can focus. So if there's a way for you to go off in your own, maybe there's other people in your house who aren't attending, separate yourself. If you can get rid of computers or anything like that that get you connected to work, of course you have to use a computer for the actual event, but if there's something else that distracts you on a regular basis, get that out of the room so that it's not there. The other thing is completely clear your calendar. Don't come in and out just because it's a home Zoom conference. Don't think you can come in and come out, because the people who really focus are having a great time. The people who are really focusing are having a great time, where the people will come in and out, and if they're not really participating, they're not going to have nearly as good of a time. The other thing is pack snacks, meals, water, all that kind of stuff. It seems like, well, my kitchen is right there, so what's the difference? Well, the difference is that there's not a lot of breaks in this, and everything is really important, especially if it's your first time. To be honest, I went up and grabbed food and that kind of thing, and I did some orders. I did an order from DoorDash, and had to go up and that kind of thing, go upstairs to get the door and all that. But I've also done this multiple times. If this is your first time, you really want to be paying attention for the entire time. So bring snacks, bring food. And then the other thing is just, if you're going to do this, participate and go all in. Go all in, dance, be silly. It might not be something that you normally do, but who cares? Just give it your all. Give it your all. Go all in. They always say play all out. And that's really it. Give it your all and you're going to have a great time. When you're in a live setting, it's so easy to do that because you got the big lights. I mean, it's like a rave. It's crazy. But when you're there, it's so much easier. When you're here, you got to make an effort. You got to make an effort. Maybe you might feel silly, but do yourself a favor. Be okay with feeling silly so that you can have the effects. Because if you go all in, you're going to see huge things. I can look at the faces on the screen, on the Zoom screen. The people who are going all in were in, and they were having a great time. They were all in. And the people who were not, you could just see that they were exhausted, they were tired, they weren't all that interested, and they weren't all that engaged. So go all in. I hope that you enjoyed following along for day 1. Tomorrow's day 2, then day 3, then day 4. I don't think I'm going to do nearly as much filming tomorrow, primarily so that this doesn't turn into a 3-hour video. I love Lord of the Rings, but that's about the only 3-hour video I want to watch. So for that reason, I'm probably not going to do nearly as much documenting tomorrow, but I will check in with you throughout the day, and that's probably what I'm going to do the rest of the seminar. What I wanted to do mostly with this video is for people who are on the fence about going, they could get an idea of what this is going to be like, they could get a feeling for it, and they could decide whether or not they want to go. If it's up to me, I would say absolutely go. If you're listening to my suggestion, go and don't even think twice about it. It is something that is extremely valuable and you definitely will not regret. All right, I'll see you tomorrow morning. Good morning, everyone. It is day 2. I'm very excited about this. Joseph McClendon III is already up on the screen doing a great job. For those of you who have not attended this event, I think I said this in the previous video, with the way Tony's voice is, he really can't speak every single day in a row. So he has Joseph McClendon III come out, and he is an incredible speaker. So he's going to be taking charge today. What he's doing is teaching the content that Tony created. We're doing a lot of book work today. Today is a lot of work where we're talking about our vision. We're talking about our gap between where we want to be and where we are and what we can do to bridge that gap. I'll come back on later today to give you some details about exactly what we covered today and what it was like. But I love Joseph. I think he's a fantastic speaker. I think there are quite a few people who are disappointed when they come on the second day and Tony's not there. But I'd really advise you just to give him a chance because, 1, he's an incredible speaker, and 2, I think he has the hardest job in the speaking world, and that is living up to the expectations of Tony Robbins, living up to those expectations that people have, but he's able to do such a great job. He's funny, he's engaging, and also he's a really great teacher. I believe in his previous life he was a professor of some sort. He's a really great teacher going over this very complex content. What we do on day 2 is cover some content where we're going to really be going inward. We're going to be going inward. We're going to be examining where we are at in our lives, what's going on, and what kind of things that we can change. So this day is very, very important, and I'm excited about it. Like I said in the video, well, for me it was last night, for you it was just a few moments ago. I'm not going to record as much today. I'll probably just check in a few times throughout the day and let you know how it's been going. All right, day 2, here we go. Let's do it. Hey, we're midday through day 2. This has been awesome. It's been absolutely incredible. The thing that Joseph is so good at is getting people up and moving, and he makes you feel really silly the way he asks you to dance, but it gets you moving, it makes you feel good, and most importantly, it gets you to the point to where you can actually do this important work. We've been working in and out of this manual all day long. We've been working in this manual all day long, work that's very important for us to do, but most of the time we're not able to do it because you got to be able to feel in order to actually do it in a way that's going to serve you. But when we do something like workbook, oftentimes we get stuck in our head because we're using that part of the brain. Joseph gets us up, moving, dancing. You see people are celebrating behind us. Gets us moving, dancing, having fun, and then gets in the workbook, and then back to moving, breathing, dancing, having fun, then back into the workbook, doing that over and over and over again so that you can express things in a way that, so often we have these great experiences that are spiritual, that feel incredible, but we're not recording them. And then at the same time, we have these moments where we're recording things, where we're writing things, but we're not having that kind of actual internal experience where we're feeling something. And that's something that Joseph is so good at doing, and it's been really fun to experience. And just like I said before, every time I do this, I get new breakthroughs, and that is what is the best about this. Good morning. Well, it's actually day 3 now. We're actually the morning of day 3. Yesterday I had a really interesting experience and wanted to share that with you. Right now I'm kind of out of breath because I just did some of the exercise, some of the workouts. because these are intense days. And yeah, you're at your home, and it really comes down to what you decide to put into it, if you're going to put everything in. But I just decided to go all out. And so last night I was pretty exhausted, and so I didn't end up making this video last night because I just thought I'd do a better job this morning. Got up, took a shower, got ready for the day. Then I did some workouts and those kind of things. The event has already started. We did some the Kinergy dancing, that kind of thing. Got feeling really good. Then I decided to pop on and make this video right now. So interesting experience from yesterday, and that is they sucked me in. They really sucked me in. And what I mean by that is, honestly, I was intending to spend most of day 2 doing some other things, even though I said don't divide your time, make sure that you're just focusing on the event. You know, I've done the event before, and I thought, you know what, I really want to focus on day 1 and day 3 when Tony's really there. But day 2, I thought, I've done it before. It's all those exercises that I've done before, and not only done them before, but I teach them in my own work. But as I started doing it little by little, I really got sucked in because 1, Joseph's so good, 2, the energy with the room is so great, and 3, the exercises are so valuable. They're so good. They're so important. So I really got sucked into it. It was really exciting to me, and yesterday was a very transformational day. I really spent the whole day focusing on me and focusing on my goals and focusing on what mattered to me. And I had some really big breakthroughs, which is really exciting. Some decisions that I made in my business, which is very cool. You know, that's a big part of this. Also some decisions I made in my personal life as well. Anyway, by the end of the night, because I was so focused, I was pretty tired. I decided to wait until today, to this morning, to make this video. So I wanted to break down a couple things from yesterday. First of all, Joseph is incredible at getting you moving, dancing, breathing, making you feel silly. I think I said that in the video before, but it's really good because it makes it so you can focus on the work. So you can focus on the work that's in front of you, which is a lot. It's a lot of work. You go through a lot of work in day 2. Things like talking about your vision. What is it that you want? You talk about where you are right now with something called the Wheel of Life, where you give yourself a score in different categories of your life, and you're able to see where you are. Then you're able to look at where you want to be, and they talk about something called the gap. Where's the gap between where you are and where you want to be, and what can you do to bridge that gap? It's a really cool thing. It's really good to see awareness. They made the analogy of if you are setting a GPS for where you want to go, if you're using your GPS to figure out where you want to go, well, first thing is you got to say where you want to be, but then the second thing is you got to know where you are right now in order to get there. So that was really cool. Also, even though it is a Joseph day, there's quite a few videos from Tony. Tony needs to rest his voice. That's the whole reason why he sounds like that. And so Joseph is who does day 2, but there's also quite a few videos of him from the past, and also there's some guided meditations. Now, one of these guided meditations in particular is called the rubber band method. This was really, really cool because he's really good at getting you to be able to visualize, and not just visualize, but step into a reality that is the future. You'll step into the future as if it was real. And so in this exercise, we're looking at the gap, where you want to be. You step into it as if it's real. You're also looking at where you currently are right now. Once you get into that place, he then puts you back here, and then you feel this pull. You feel this pull moving forward. Now, what this meditation does is it really gives you momentum moving forward, and not just feel this desire, but feel a pull to move forward. Because once you've experienced it, you can't go back to where you were. But yet with this rubber band idea, you can just as easily get pulled back if you allow yourself to get back into that same mindset as before. So that meditation, I've always enjoyed it, but for some reason this particular time was more powerful, and I'm not really sure why. Maybe I just gave it my all. I don't know, but this time it was a really, really powerful experience, which was really, really awesome. Also, in some of the video training, Tony talked about building rapport. He talked about how to be able to build rapport with people in your life, in your relationships, in business, whatever you're doing, building rapport. He talked a lot about building a successful team around you, being a team player. I thought that was really cool. And then talked a lot about proximity being power, your peer group, and how important it is to have that peer group because you are who you hang out with. He talked about how you don't get your expectations. Oftentimes you get the expectations of the peer group that you hang out with. That's what you're going to get. And if you're hanging around people who are fit and healthy, you're going to be more fit and healthy. If you're hanging around people who are financially successful, you're going to be more financially successful. But if you're hanging out with people who are out of shape, you're going to go back into that area. If you're hanging out with people and you're the most financial successful person there, you're going to come down as well, because we will live up to the expectations of our peer group. I thought that was very interesting and really loved it. All in all, the day was incredible. Joseph did an incredible job. The whole team did an incredible job. They're so good at engaging, bringing people in, getting them excited, which is awesome. So much fun. The videos from Tony were great. All of the meditations were great. It was a fantastic day. Now I'm going to get going on day 3. This actually is my favorite day. This is my absolute favorite day. I think that the stuff that we go through today is the most powerful. And honestly, today is the reason why I keep coming back to UPW over and over and over again, is because the feeling that I have during day 3, specifically towards the end, a couple different exercises that we go through are just life-changing. And I love feeling that experience. So I'm excited for it, and I'll talk to you about it later. We're having the party here. We can have it at home or we can have it there, but let's have it right here, right now. You know, anyone who is willing to have fun, play all out, even though you are at home, can still have a great time, whether you are there or here. So I think this is pretty cool. If you're going to do this, just play all out just like you would if you were live. Everyone is on fire. Look at that. Tony's on fire. All the people are on fire. This is what this is all about. This feeling right here. This is what Unleash the Power Within is about. It's about this moment. It's about feeling unleashed and feeling like we have all the power in the world, because we do. And these people right here are so pumped. They got everything inside of them right now. They got it right now. This is just like if we were there live. People are pumped. People are feeling good. People are feeling amazing. Everyone who's participating, wow, they're feeling great. Here we go. So people ask me why I would come again and again. And the reason why is because of the feeling I have right now. We just went through some incredible exercises, and I'm feeling so good. So much certainty, so much strength, so much excitement, so much joy. This is the whole point right here. This feeling right now. And honestly, everything in this whole seminar to me is about coming to this moment. Coming to this moment right now, going through this exercise where we get into absolute confidence, and we do it with our physiology. So much we get stuck in our head. When you're in your head, you're dead. But we get into this physiology of absolute confidence, this posture of absolute confidence, this movement of absolute confidence, and it feels amazing. It feels absolutely incredible, and this is the reason why I'm going to keep coming back to this event over and over and over and over again, for this feeling right now, for this refresher right now, so then I can use it all the time and continuously prime myself to feel this way. Day 3 is done, and wow, it was absolutely incredible. It is so amazing to me what they have been able to do with a virtual setting. I mean, they've been able to connect so well, and I would say that I got the same amount of breakthroughs and takeaways. Yes, I'd always rather be in a live setting where I get to see people and experience people, but I'd say I got just as much out of it as if I was there in person, which was so cool. So I want to break down what today was like, what we went through. Like I said, I wasn't going to do nearly as much video yesterday and today, and I didn't. I'm not going to do as much tomorrow either. I'll probably just do one video tomorrow, which is going to be a little bit of a recap of day 4, but mostly just my final thoughts about the event. And so let me go over what today was like. So first of all, day 3 of UPW is not a seminar where you sit and listen. It is an experience. This is much more about an exercise, about experiences where you're breaking through things. Day 1, you learn a lot of things. You listen a lot. Yes, you move and dance and all that kind of stuff, because every Tony event is like that. But there's a lot of listening. Day 2, there's a lot of book work, where day 3, It's really all about experiences. Put it this way, I wear this Fitbit. I literally did not leave my basement. Well, except for now. I'm at my office now. But I mean, the whole day up until now was in my basement. And I walked the equivalent of 19,000 steps today, just dancing around in my basement. It says it's 9 miles is what that is. So to put that into perspective, there was lots of moving, not just for the sake of getting up and dancing, but Tony's always talking about getting in peak state so then you can experience what you're going through. So some of those exercises that we went through, first in the morning, we did a gratitude exercise. We did a priming meditation exercise, which is just unbelievable. It's an unbelievable experience. I'm going to put a link in the description that shows you one of these from a live seminar. It's absolutely incredible. After that, we went into this exercise, which is about building confidence through physiology. Like you go over like how you stand and act and move and think when you're in a state of hope, then when you're in a state of doubt, and what that's like, what your physiology is like, and then what's it like when you go into being confident, and then what's that like when you go into being certain, and what that feels like. And we go through just incredible experiences. What I just said right there, that confidence exercise, it's like a 2-hour thing. It's very active, and it's all about reprogramming our brain. Sometimes people say that this kind of stuff is like brainwashing. The truth is that it is. Like literally we are reprogramming our brains, but we're reprogramming our brains to serve us. We're actually trying to get rid of the programming that has come. So much negative programming happens all the time because of our upbringing, because of society, because of just the programming going on in school and all that kind of stuff. We're trained to look for problems. We're trained to feel weak. We're trained to feel small. We're trained to feel uncertain, to feel doubt. But it's incredible what happens when you allow yourself to feel confident, when you allow yourself to feel strength, when you allow yourself to feel absolute certainty, and you're just unstoppable when you feel that. I made a video right after this. It was just unbelievable. What an incredible experience. Then after that, we did something called the Dickens Process. And what the Dickens Process is, this is based off of Charles Dickens' The Christmas Carol, which in that Ebenezer Scrooge is visited by 3 ghosts over the night. He's visited by 3 ghosts, the ghost of Christmas past, the ghost of Christmas present, and the ghost of Christmas yet to come. So in this process, what we do is we look at a limiting belief, a limiting or false belief that we have or have had throughout our lives. We look at it, we actually look at the science of negative thinking. Everything's always about positive with Tony's work, but this one time we're going to go into the negative. We need to get leverage. We need to get leverage to make lasting change. So you look into basically how has it affected you in the past? That's the ghost of Christmas past. How is it affecting you now? That's the ghost of Christmas present. And then how is it going to affect you in the future? The ghost of Christmas yet to come. That's the word. And so we go into that, and it's super powerful. And it's pretty intense. Like in fact, they tell you if you have a child, put them on a different computer or different iPad or something like that. If you have a child there was a different experience for them to do, because this was not something that was appropriate for kids to be at, because it got really dark. It gets really dark, and because you need to get leverage. And then after that process, this is my absolute favorite part of the seminar. So you go through just the most empowering moment. This incantation, it's called Now I Am the Voice. And it's this powerful incantation I do every day. It's served me so much. It's helped me so much. It's just a super, super powerful incantation to keep you moving and to believe that you are the voice. Now I am the voice. It's really, really incredible. I'll include some videos below on that as well. But that was awesome. And then there's celebration. Went through breaking through some of those limiting beliefs, doing some silly things to just change the mindset. Not just the mindset, but to interrupt the pattern. And so it's a lot of fun. It's really incredible. So today was amazing. It was absolutely incredible. Tony over-delivered like he always does. And he's just a master. And what they have done with this virtual setup is amazing. And I would tell anyone who's watching this wondering if they should do the virtual, specifically people who have been to UPW Live, I would say absolutely do it, because they do such an incredible job of making you feel like you're connected. One of the things tonight, when they were going all the different Zoom faces back and forth, for some reason, it reminded me of the scene in the movie Truman Show when Jim Carrey's character is getting out, and it shows all those people watching all over the place. They're looking at all of those things, and they go in and see all the different people in their homes, and they're celebrating. That's what it reminded me of, and it was so powerful. It was so intense. It was so exciting, and it felt like the world was united because there's people from all sorts of different countries, obviously states, but all sorts of different countries all over the world. There's all these people united together, and it was so much fun to watch, to see all these people. And it was very, very fun, and it was so empowering. I just felt incredible. I felt absolutely amazing. So if you're thinking about going, I would highly, highly recommend going. I know this video has been very, very long. I'm going to do one more video tomorrow, just wrapping this up. But this has been an incredible experience, and thanks for watching this far. I don't know what I'm thinking releasing a video this long, but I figure some people will get something out of it. So I hope that you've enjoyed this, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye. All right, we're midway through day 4. I just wanted to wrap up this video. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for following along. I hope that you've been enjoying this. If you've made it this far, I assume that you've enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments. Today is a day focused on health and nutrition, a lot of content on health and nutrition. There's a variety of speakers. Also, they do talk quite a bit about the different programs that they have to offer. Date with Destiny, Business Mastery, Mastery University. I would highly recommend doing those if it's something you're interested in. Because they're just great programs. I did Date with Destiny last year. I'm doing it again in a couple weeks from now. I'm going to be doing Business Mastery in this coming year. And so they're all great programs. They do talk quite a bit about it, just letting you know that they do talk about it. If that's something that you're interested in, definitely go. If you're not interested, I would encourage you, at least for the first time you do this program, I'd encourage you to listen to what they're saying to see about, well, what would this be like maybe for the future? Maybe I would want to do it for the future. Also, these people are masters at selling, masters at telling stories. They are masters at teaching and educating. They're able to sell in a way that is educational. And so if you're in sales, which by the way, you are in sales, if you say you're not in sales, you're wrong. Because even if you say, I'm not in sales, I'm a stay-home mom, it's not true. I can tell you what, trying to get a 3-year-old to eat broccoli is the hardest sell I ever make. So you are in sales. Everyone's in sales. So when they do the sales, which look, this is a business. So there's different programs, and all those programs are incredible. But that's the biggest complaint about that I hear about UPW and about specifically day 4 is, oh, there was too much selling. They talk too much about this. They talk too much about that. And in my opinion, you're so much better off if you go into it looking at, well, what can I learn from this? What can I learn from this situation? How can I learn from this? These people are extremely successful at the business side of this. They're by far the best in the industry. So what can I learn from that for my industry? Now, for me, I'm in their industry, but whatever industry you're in or whatever you're doing, and it doesn't matter what you're doing, what can you learn from it? Also, day 4 to me is a really good day for integrating everything that you've learned throughout the event and taking that time, because I know that if I immediately go from, let's say, the night of day 3 last night, you ended on that high note, and then immediately go back into life, it's kind of a little bit like, it's a little bit jarring, and it feels a little bit weird because I've been processing all this stuff, I've been learning all this stuff, and then boom, I'm right back into normal life. To me, it's really nice to have a day to be able to integrate, to be able to think, to be able to get my mind around what I've been doing, and to be able to look, at this big giant book. So if there's ever a time in day 4 where you feel like, well, they're talking about that program too much, I'd encourage you to go through your book, take some time to integrate, and most importantly, continue to have that feel. Continue to have the feel of the moving, the breathing, the dancing, because there's a lot of that going on day 4. So getting that, having that feeling, it's absolutely incredible. So I just wanted to give you a couple more thoughts on this. I just think that what Tony has done here is incredible. It's absolutely amazing. UPW has always been incredible, absolutely incredible. I've loved this event. 4th time, I'll be going back again. And I can tell you that it's worth doing virtually as well. Like, I was afraid, I thought it wouldn't be, but it absolutely was. Well, the first time, and then this time it was as well. I did another video where I showed all these little things, because we're on Zoom. How do you communicate? What you can say yes, or I love that, or give a thumbs up, which I think is pretty cool that they do. They make it very interactive. They make it a lot of fun. And I'd highly encourage you to do it. If you're going to do it, I think I said this earlier, but take the time, block out your schedule, give yourself space so that you can actually go all in, play all out, even from home. Play all out. Don't worry about what if my neighbors hear me, or what if my roommate hears me, or what if my spouse thinks I'm weird, or whatever. Just tell them. So we actually had some people visiting us. My wife's sister came and visited us yesterday. That's actually why the last video was in my office instead of here, was because there was kids sleeping, on the other side of this wall. So I didn't want to do this here. So I drove down to my office and did the video there. But I told them yesterday, they came yesterday during the day, and I said, hey, we're going to be doing this process where I'm going to be very loud, and I'm going to be like really, this is that Dickens process I told you about. I'm going to be loud, but I'm also going to be like yelling in anger and in upset, and I'm going to really go there because it's therapeutic. It's something that I'm doing to better myself. So I said, just so you know, you're going to be hearing weird noises. You're going to be hearing weird noises that sound scary, and then you're going to be hearing cheering and yelling because I'm playing all out. So I just let them know, and I said, you can think I'm weird if you want, but I'm going to do this. And they're very nice about it. Later on, I sent a text to my sister-in-law saying, hey, thanks for not thinking I'm weird. Or at least being nice about it, because I realized I was assuming that she wasn't thinking I don't know, maybe she does, I don't know, but I was willing to do it. So play all out, have fun with this, and I would highly recommend, if you're thinking about going, go and experience it, go and have fun, play all out, and you're going to have an incredible time. I had an incredible time. I can't wait to attend again. Thank you so much for watching this, and instead of what I normally say, you are awesome, with my t-shirt here, you are amazing. Bye.